Hi guys, welcome back to Tara's Take. This is Tara. So, we're starting out in an odd position at my sewing machine, as you can see. I have been sewing and preparing some of our papers. Let me see if I can pull back a little bit so you guys can see. I've been doing the edges of some of our papers for our journal. That is the journal that we started together a couple weeks ago. And so I just left two here for me to sew with you because I don't want to bore you guys. And I am still not, editing and everything and doing all the fast speed up through it and all that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do the zigzag. I don't use a foot. I do have a foot, but I find that when I use it, my paper can tend to slip underneath it because I tend to rely on the foot more than I should. So I figured out the approximate spot for me on my machine, okay, which is, if you can see, let me go back closer again. Let me get this back. There we go. Okay, so right here, I'm going to point with my scissors. This line here in my machine, okay, it actually is a really good spot for me to put my paper right in the center or to stay right there, and it will do a perfect zigzag over the edge of the paper, and it's like this. That's really close, but I wanted you to see it. And it literally sits over the edge of the paper, and I think it looks really nice like that. It's very clean, and so I was just wanting to show you guys how I go about getting it to that point. So what I do is I start a little bit ways forward, and I do some, and I hold my thread back here. I don't want it to get caught up underneath, and I hold it here a little bit over. There we go. And then I hit my back stitch, and I just kind of give a little tug to the paper with my thumb. Okay, and then now we're ready to get started going forward. So we're gonna go around, and like I said, I only left like 2 papers to do with you guys, and that way you don't have to go through the grueling process of listening to the sewing machine the whole time, but at least you'll get to see this part. So this is what I do next. Once I have chosen all my papers, okay, I will go ahead and come in and pick the ones that are, usually what I do is I sew the DigiKit papers, okay, so whatever kit I've chosen to go into my journal, or you could call them your decorated pages, the cardstock pages are the ones I sew. I do all of them with the zigzag stitch around the edge. Once in a while I'll do a straight stitch, and sometimes I've actually tried to do the rose stitch that I have on my machine, or no, not the rose, I'm sorry, it's like a vine, but the paper tends to get too eaten up with that, so I don't usually do that on paper. I save that one for cloth. It'd be great if it worked, but so far I haven't really seen it work very well. Too many, punchings in the same spot to make the design. So anyway, I usually do the zigzag, and then after that I will make my ruffles, and I'll usually make various sizes out of the material that I'm using for the journal. And if I have anything left over, I use it down the line, in something else that's the same color, whatever. But for that journal, I will make a good amount of ruffles, and I'm gonna do a couple of those probably today with you guys. And then the next thing I do along this part of the process is I create my signatures. So I've already chosen, I believe, all the paper that I want for the signatures. I may throw in a couple of vintage book pages here and there, possibly, but as far as the digital papers, my cardstock pages that are blank, that are just copy dyed or color, food colored, those are already chosen. And then I have a few that are a couple that are just this really cool paper that I like to put in, and then the last ones I did are regular coffee dyed copy paper. Okay, so those are all ready to go, and they just need separated, and I was going to show you how I do that. No big deal. I'm sure those of you who do this know that it's not difficult, but there are those of us out there that are new to junk journaling, and I remember when I was new and I would be watching things and be like, but what about this, and what do you do with that, and well, what do you do next, you know? And I want to make sure and not bore those that know what they're doing, but also not include those who are new to our craft. So you guys get it. So I may be, you know, I may repeat myself and be redundant at times. I may tell you things you already know, or maybe you know better than I, and if you do, feel free to let me know. I would love suggestions and tips. I've told you guys I'm new at this. I'm only a year into this art, and I love it, and I caught on pretty quick, but I'm still learning, as we all are. So yeah. So anyway, this is my next thing. And instead of doing the ruffles right now, I'll probably move the machine and go ahead and get my selection or my signatures prepared. And then I'm going to go through with you some of the ephemera I've already gotten ready. And you'll recognize some of it because some of it was done with you guys on camera. I was keeping in mind as I was creating things to make sure and make some things that were within our color scheme, and so I have a little bit of stuff made already. So I want you guys to be thinking about what we want to call this journal, okay? I like to name my journals. I don't know if you all do too. I do one more little. I like to name my journals. I've noticed not everybody does say a name. They might just say, you know, this is my blue journal, this is my pink journal. But I think the majority of us tend to name our journal. I think it's easier to identify them if I've named them. So now we're just about finished. Oh, and I didn't mention at the end for anybody, I do another back stitch. Okay, so I just kind of give the paper a little light tug as it pulls back through. I've not done back stitch before at the beginning and end, and I've regretted it because of course your stitching starts to come out, and that's a bummer. So okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video for just a second. I promise I'll be right back, and I'm going to move my machine. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. So these are our papers that we have ready. Now these are the papers I was talking about. These come out of journals that I bought from Barnes & Noble years ago. And I had a whole bunch of them, and I hadn't used them all, so I tore them down and took out the pages, and I avocado dyed them. And that's why they're kind of a pinkish maroon, reddish, rosy color. And then of course I dried them on that blue sheet I've talked about before, and it impacted the color of my pages. But this paper is like, it's handmade, and I think it was made in Indonesia, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and I love writing on it. It's very cool. And then here of course is some copy paper. And this is like a 33-pound copy paper, and I copy dyed this the other day. They turned out pretty decent. And these are avocado dyed, and these are cardstock. And I like to put these in the journal to give me a good base to build on. Sometimes these end up getting covered with cloth or lace or both, or just built in, with ephemera. And then of course these are the ones that we just sewed, and these are from the digital kits. And I did 2 kits. I did the one that I showed you the other day, and then I went back in and I got a few papers from Len's Art Craft. I like her work, and so I thought it'd look nice, If you haven't noticed, the color scheme's kind of a pink with a green and, mixture of, you know what I mean? So, and I went ahead this morning and Oh, I see here I'm going to have to distress this because my printer was not, well, I think I've explained my printer's argument with me about borderless. If it's not on the right paper, it won't print the right color. It's kind of annoying because I think I should have a say in what my printer's doing, but it seems that they have created it that way and I don't have much of a say. So anyway, this is a background page from Tina. I don't really remember which kit it came out of. It's been a long time since I've looked at it. I just pulled it up real quick this morning because I remembered it had the pink and the peach and the green, and I thought, oh, that's perfect as a background page. So these will be what we'll use as journaling pages for, you know, the person who the journal belongs to eventually. So I'm going to turn these, and now we're going to decide which pages go with what, and which signature and all that good stuff. I usually just, I'm going to make 3 rows, and you'll see here. Okay, so I'm going to set these papers to the side here, and we'll go ahead and get started on, oh, and I brought some music paper along, or some music sheets, and those are vintage. So I'm going to start out making 3 stacks. This is how I always do it. That way things stay lined up the way I want them, and I know what's going next in each signature. I usually keep it together. I do between 10 and 15 pages. I'm usually staying around 12 if I can. I have no idea. I may have to do filler with more copy paper, but I didn't count exactly how many are here. So, you know what? In fact, I'm not going to, I apologize. I'm going to start the stacks with the DigiKit paper, okay? And it looks like I have missed my white line on a few of these. I didn't realize. I had done it uniform and it still did it wrong. So, distress ink all the way, guys. Or lace, you know, covering it up. And then we're going to go ahead and do, you know what, I'm going to do a second. So that's 2. I'm going to do a second one here, 3. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do a cardstock page. And then we're going to, I think I'll do the music sheet. And I'm going to go back to a digi. Using that one. Now this one. Let me count here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Stay with me 1 second. I'm just going to grab some coffee dyed pages. Okay, I'm back. I just needed to step over real quick. Okay, 8. Yep. 10. This one's like that. I hope you guys can see. 12. I mean, 11. What do I do with those little guys? Here, I know they're right here. Oh, here they are. And these will make 12. And I always put these in the center. I don't know why. I just think they're kind of cool in the center. Okay. Okay. So now we have 3 signatures, and it should be 12 pages. I'm going to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 pages. So now we have 3 signatures, 12 pages each. That's going to be the front of our signature. Okay. I'm going to have to make sure I have these going the right direction. I hope I'm in the camera. I am, right? Okay. Oh, that one's cool, huh? Okay. I'm going to be folding this like that. So I like to make sure when I fold it, it's, yeah, I'm going this way. Yeah, okay. All right. Coffee dyed, plain pink, coffee dyed. Those are so pretty, aren't they beautiful? Okay, so I'm going to clip these together now. And let's see, we're going to make sure this one's going the right direction as well. Okay, I think this needs to go. This is the confusing part. I have to hold it the right way so I can tell for sure. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And then there's that one. That one. And then this one will be, yeah. Okay. Clip. And then this one is, doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm going to say this way. Okay. Hope you guys like the pages I chose. I was trying to make sure that it would match nicely with the cover. You know, the cover's so maroon and pink and rosy looking, and so that was my goal. Okay, so now we've got our signatures put together. Okay, and I was just really quick gonna show you. Here's the cover again, in case you haven't seen it or in case you forgot what it looked like. Okay, so that's our cover. So these pages will look pretty in there. What do you think? Well, don't you think so? I think they'll set each other off nicely. So this little guy, little girl I made the other day with you on camera, she is going to go into the journal. Okay. Now normally I would put these like in the front or the back because of the fact that it takes up a nice amount of space and it's very handy to have them, but because we put the pockets in the sides, she'll probably go on a page. But anyway, I've made some journaling cards with you guys that are going to go in here. I thought this the green would be pretty, and then this one we made the other day. We made all these the other day. I don't know about this one, probably not this one, but these guys that I made by myself that have the cityscape in them, I'll probably just decorate over the top of those, you know, but they'll be pretty. And then this young lady, because of the greens, and then this one, of course, just the pinks. These are the Edith Holden cards that I made the other. Oh, I didn't make them with you on camera, but I posted them on Facebook. That's why I was thinking about that. So then we have our little booklet, okay, and then this one we did the other day. So if, as you see, a lot of the ones I've been making with you, I have been keeping in mind that I wanted to do these, do for our book. Now, since this is Edith and the others that went so well, I'm going to put that one. And then this one here, we did on camera. I thought that'd be very pretty in there. Decorated up. And now her, I'm not so sure. I don't know yet. We'll see. If you want, let me know in the pictures. Or in the pictures. Let me know in the comments what you think of her. I don't know that I don't know. I mean, I could probably make it match, but I think I might save her for another project. But anyway, so far we have all of that going. And I think that's a good start. Considering I haven't been technically working on it by myself. So now what I do is I prep the paper and I start folding it and getting it ready, you know, as a, so it looks like a signature, of course. And this is probably a boring part for you guys to watch, but I was asked what my process is, and I figured I'd take you through as much of it as I can without boring you to death. So yeah, I just go ahead and I start folding, getting them ready. Now they're not going to all be the same size, and that is because when I printed, I had to print short because of the border. Okay, so usually, I don't know how I was managing to do it before. I was getting it to work, and now I can't seem to get it to work. But usually it's the same. They're all the same size, but it's okay. It's just a slight difference. And the kind of cool part is that there'll be lace and stuff and ruffles and things like that that will extend if you do junk journals. You know what I mean? If you don't, when you do a lace ruffle or I mean pieces of lace or ruffle on the edges of your pages, it extends the height and the length of your pages, and so you really don't have to worry too much. And plus it's kind of cool to have different levels, you know, different sizes of paper and stuff, as long as they all come within the framework of your sewing when you bind. If you use a sewing binding, you know, thread, you know what I'm saying, then that way, as long as you get it within the space and the paper's not too short to be sewn, you're good. Okay. This paper's really a strong paper. I bought a little more expensive paper here a while back to do my coffee dyeing on, and it's definitely different. It's thicker, which is kind of nice in a way, because you know, that way I have more quality there, and I can actually probably do some decorating on it. I don't usually decorate on the coffee paper that I coffee dye, but I might with this. Yeah, you just fold it in half, and you know, you've got your signatures prepped. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and finish folding this stack, and then I'm probably going to say goodbye for today. And next week we will start. I'm going to get some ruffles ready for us, and I will do some on camera so that you can see how I do them. I don't do them as a seamstress would. I can, now I can. Loosening my, you know, the tautness on my thread and all that stuff on the machine, or I mean tightening it and all that. Or no, loosening it. I haven't done it that way in a while. I can do it, but I choose not to. So I like doing a little simpler way, at least it is to me. And I'll show you that way next week. So that's where we're at now. We've got some of our ephemera, we've sewn our pages, we've picked out everything, we've got all our signatures are ready. Next week we're going to start decorating, and I really, really appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video, and I appreciate you coming back and hanging out with me every single day. You guys have a wonderful, blessed afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.